Welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Brooke and I'm a mom of 5 living with my husband and children on a remote farm in central Canada. This channel is all about cash stuffing, cash budgeting, cash envelopes, whatever you want to call it. And it's my document of my journey out of survival mode and into thriving mode. And it has come up in comments a few times just how remote exactly are we. So to clarify on what I mean about remote, our farm is surrounded by about 6,000 acres of forest, crown land, which means public land, forest. So we are just in the middle of about 6,000 acres of forest. And our closest town is a half-hour drive away with a population of just over 800 people. And the closest town that's large enough to go to for groceries is an hour and 20 minutes away with a population of about 14,000. And the closest city, the 3 closest cities are 5 hours away so one's 5 hours west, one's 5 hours east, and one is 5 hours south. So to get to a city, we have quite a drive. To go get groceries, we have quite a drive. And our own little community that we live in has a population of 17, and 5 of those are my children. So that is what I mean when I say that we are remote, just for anyone who was interested in that little tidbit. All right, so Friday, it's payday, and I'm starting to have a bit more money to work with as I go along here because I have recently become employed part-time after many, many years as a stay-at-home mother. So I'm currently generating some off-the-farm income from an external source. And so that has made a considerable difference in our finances. So let's see what we're working with today. We have 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 40, 60, 84, 20, 40, 60, 85, 20, 40, 60, 86, 20, 40, 60, 87, 20, 40, 60, 88, 20, 40, 60, 89, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1,000, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So I have 1,040 Canadian and 20, 40, 60 US. So that is one of the larger amounts that I've had along my cash stuffing journey, and I must say it feels pretty good to not be scrimping and pinching every penny, and to be able to just kind of breathe a little bit. Okay, so I have been cash stuffing now for about 8 months, and it is really, really making a difference. So if this is something that you've been thinking about, you've seen videos about, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll give this a try, I say go for it. It makes all the difference in the world. Cash stuffing has completely changed my spending habits, my financial management, everything for the better. And I just wish that I had started doing this years ago. We'd be in a totally different position right now if I had. All right, so before I get into my binders here, I'm going to take care of my wallet for the week. So groceries, I am pretty thrilled to say I have 15 left over in my grocery envelope that I'm going to tuck back here. And in gas, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oops. There we go. Dog food, I have $10 left over. Whoops, putting it in the wrong spot. There we go. And nothing there. Okay, so we'll deal with those later. For now, we're going to stuff for this week. Groceries this week is going to get, I'm going to put 380, which is more than usual. But on days when I'm working, I'm finding that usually I make everything from scratch, whole foods, I make meals for my children, but on the days when I'm working, I need some things that they can prepare for themselves. Especially, I have a few picky eaters who don't want to eat leftovers from last night's dinner, which is annoying, but we won't go there. So I just need things like so that they can make themselves sandwiches and stuff like that. So I'm going to give a little bit more to the grocery budget this week to accommodate my work days. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 40, 60, 80. And I really hate having all these 20s, but I went early this morning to town, very early before anything was open, so I had to use the ATM instead of being able to go into the bank and get the denominations I wanted. So there we go. Groceries is ready to go for the week. Now gas is going to get the US. So we have $60 US for gas. If I can get it in there, there we go. Dog food is going to get 90, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 90. And the feed store for our livestock feed is going to get 60. So just need some chicken feed and maybe some alfalfa cubes for the horses. At this time of year, we really don't spend very much at the feed store because most of our livestock are out on pasture for the vast majority of their eating needs, just eating grass for the most part. We do have a herd of cattle, so lots of cows, lots of little calves running around right now. And then we've got our horses. We have some geese, some chickens, and that's it for right now. So with the horses and the cows out on pasture, we are really saving at the feed store. Okay, so that's the wallet taken care of. Now we're going to go into the binders. All right, the emergency fund is getting $20 today. So we have $300 in the bank in a high interest savings account. And then we have 20, 40, 60, 85. So 385 for the emergency fund. And I know I've mentioned this before, but prior to cash stuffing, we had absolutely no emergency savings to fall back on. And so when I started doing this, I decided even if I only had $5 or $10 to put in here, this was going to be a priority. And so this has been steadily growing since January, and it just gives me a sense of security like nothing else. Even though, $385 doesn't go very far in an emergency, that's $385 more than zero. And that's $385 that we would not have to put on a credit card in the event of an emergency. The grocery buffer this week, I haven't had much of a grocery buffer over the summer, but my pay is bi-weekly for my part-time job. And then our farm income and the income that I have coming in from other sources is a little bit more sporadic. So I don't always have a weekly income. So that's why we have the grocery buffer for weeks when we don't have stuff coming in. So that's going to get 150 today. 20, 40, 60, 80. 1, 20, 40, and 50. And just a couple more weeks, we'll be heading on our trip to our family reunion. So I don't need a whole lot in here for the upcoming whatever, but I am going to be making that grocery buffer more of a priority when we get into the fall. Okay, so these envelopes are for my children, and these are for their spending. And typically it'll be, I'll put, $5 in here at a time. And then if they happen to come to town with me and would like to get a little treat while we're in town, then they can pull money from their envelope. And what I typically do is once if they have not pulled their spending money and they get up to $15 in here, then I take that and I put it, they each have a savings account that we will gift to them when they are older for their futures. And so once I hit $15 unspent in these envelopes, I just transfer it into their savings accounts for their futures. However, right now I am not doing that because I'm building these up so that they each have a bit of spending money for the trip we are taking next month for our family reunion. So 5 kids, $5 each. And let's get to it. Okay, baby number 1 should have 20 now. 5, 10, 15, and 20. They should all have 20 at this point. Baby number 2. 5, 10, 15, 20. And if they don't have 20, that means that somebody went into a binder and thought they'd help themselves to money. I really don't think any of them would ever do such a thing, but you never know with kids. 5, 10, 15, 20. They might get it into their head that they can just, because it's their envelope, they can spend the money. They cannot. So this is baby number 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. And quite often people will ask the ages of my children. So my children currently are 10, 13, 15, 17, and 18. And so this is baby number 5, the 10-year-old, 5, 10, 15, and 20. And I have to say, for teenagers and a preteen, I find more challenging than for small children and a baby. Okay, lessons and sports is going to get $20 today. I got to start building this back up for riding lessons and music and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and that's it for family and home binder. Okay, now we're getting into vehicles and farm. All right, so vehicle maintenance. is going to get 10. Which is 10, 20, 30, 40, nope. 20, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 10, and 15. Whew, a little brain fart there. So pretty soon we'll be getting an oil change. Usually my husband does it, but even if he does it himself, he still needs to go and buy everything he needs for that. Tires is getting a 10. I think we're fine for the summer, but once fall comes around, we'll be wanting to switch out to winter tires. So now we have 20, 30, and 40. And then we're going to flip back here to hay equipment, which is going to get 20. So we cut our own hay for our cows and horses, and we have old equipment that I'm very interested in replacing with newer equipment, but it's very expensive. So this envelope has been one of my top priorities. So we have 500 in the bank, and then we have 20, 40, 55. 555 for hay equipment. And it will make our lives so much easier when I'm able to replace the old equipment, because currently so much time is put into repairing, maintaining, all the kinds of things, like far more time than I feel is worth it. So if we can cut down all those hours spent on maintenance and repairs and all the breakdowns in the field and all the things, that'll just be a game changer for us. Okay, and that is it for this binder for this week. There's going to be a lot more going into this binder once we're done with our trip for our family reunion. There's going to be a lot more going into all the things once we're done with that trip. Right now, we got to dump as much as possible into that. Okay, so let's see now. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I missed a couple things in this envelope. In this binder. Silly me. I'm looking at my list off camera and I just realized, oh, wait a second. Property taxes, I'm putting 10 in here. Now, this is one of the perks of being remote, is that our property taxes for 360 acres is just over $500 a year. So now we have 20, 40, and 50. And veterinarian, getting into the horses here. Veterinarian is getting 15. Let's go 5, 10, 15. So now we have 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. Ooh, the money does not want to cooperate with me going back in there. Okay, now we're done with this binder. Yeah, I was looking at my list and I was like, wait a second. I'm in the wrong binder. Gotta go back to blue. Okay. Now let's get into birthdays. Birthdays is getting 20. So we got 20, 40, 60, 80, 90 for birthdays. And Christmas is getting 20. So Now we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 125, 125 for Christmas. And with 5 kids, we need a lot more than 125 for Christmas. Although we do keep it very simple. We do kind of, we keep it minimal on the gifts, but we do like the gifts to be meaningful. And so that doesn't mean a pile of cheap stuff. Yeah, so this will grow more after our trip. All right, I'm going to put in this envelope that's not labeled, I'm going to put $10. This is actually my extra mortgage payment envelope, and I've only got 30 in there. This one has not gotten very much attention, but eventually I would like to make an extra payment on my mortgage. I would like to get the mortgage paid off as soon as possible so that this farm is just free and clear to pass down to our children when they are ready. This is where my husband grew up, where his brothers grew up, and it was truly an honor to kind of take on the farm for ourselves and for raising our own children when my father-in-law and mother-in-law were ready to retire from farming. Okay, so then we get into trips, and this is where the rest of the money is going. I should have 180 here. Let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 20, 40, 60, 80. Perfect. My numbers worked out as planned. Always a good day when that happens. Okay, so let's see what we've got now for the big trip next month. We have 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 400, 20, 40, 60, 460 for the trip. So the drive, if we go through our province, we're going from the northwestern region of the province to the southern region of the province. And if we go through our own province, it's a 22-hour drive. However, if we cross into the United States and cut through the United States for part of the drive and then back into our province, it's about an 18-hour drive. So we might do that. There are lots of factors to consider, like there's food that we can't take across the border, so it depends how much food we're bringing with us, like apples and meat and things like that you're not supposed to bring across. So we'll see. So the driving will either be 22 hours or 18 hours, depending on the route we take. And we'll still be in the same province that we currently reside in. That is how vast Canada is. Okay, so now we're gonna pop over here to our rollover, and the 5 is gonna go in here in the $5 savings challenge. And if you would like this, you can get it for free along with the $10 and $20 challenge on my Ko-fi, and the link is in the description. And if you're using this, I would love to hear about it. So, and you can use this any which way you want. You can use it as a game, you can incorporate dice, you can whatever, but every circle equals $5 for a savings of $500. And the way I'm using this, rather than rolling a dice to see how many I fill or whatever, what I'm doing is every time I have $5 of rollover, it goes in here instead of me spending it on a little treat for myself or something like that. So the challenge to myself is save instead of spend. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, and 90. So I'm pleased with that. See, in the past, if there was $5 left after grocery shopping, I would justify buying myself a bit of chocolate or buying myself some pepperoni sticks or something like that. And with this challenge, I'm eager to see these envelopes grow. And so now if I have money left at the end of my weekly spending, I have this this incentive, even if it's in my own mind, this incentive to hang on to it, forego the little treat, hang on to it, and put it in the envelope. And as you can see, it makes a difference. It's all adding up. And I don't often have 10s, but this week I've got 2 of them, so that's awesome. And then when these are filled, this money will be transferred into savings, perhaps emergency savings or retirement savings or whatever, yet to be determined. Maybe it'll go towards hay equipment. We'll see. Okay, so the $10 challenge saves $1,000. So we're at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. And I still have not managed to put anything in my $20 challenge. Lonely $20 challenge back here. Okay, now my US ones, my leftover from my gas across the border. I think I had 8 this week, so I'm going to add those here. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. And this is starting to get a little bit too fat. So it's starting to kind of impact the envelope and also making this binder a little bit hard to close. So I'm going to take 40 of this to the bank to throw into a savings account, which I will do off screen so you don't need to see me count it all over again. Actually, I think, what did I count? 47? I can just count out 7 to put back in the envelope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just gonna keep a little note in my budgeting binder, like my written budgeting binder, reminding myself that I've already accumulated 40 in here and have transferred it to savings. Okay, so that one's done, and that's it for this week. And like I said, after all these months, I'm really starting to feel like I'm making good progress, and that just feels amazing. It's been a huge shift and it's paying off, and I'm so glad, because man, living in survival mode really sucks. Okay, that's all for this week. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.